Ever wondered how thoughts travel through your brain, or how memories form and fade? Welcome, fellow seekers of knowledge, to the intricate world of neurons. The average human brain is home to an estimated 100 billion neurons, each a tiny universe of complexity. Neurons, the fundamental units of the brain and nervous system, are responsible for receiving sensory input from the external world, sending motor commands to our muscles, and transforming and relaying the electrical signals at the foundation of our thoughts, memories, and feelings. The structure of a neuron is as complex as its function. Each neuron is a cell made up of several parts, including the cell body, or soma, that houses the nucleus, dendrites that receive signals from other neurons, and the axon, a long projection that transmits signals to other neurons. But neurons are not stagnant. Neurogenesis, the process of neuron formation, is an ongoing process that continues even into adulthood. New neurons are born, mature, and integrate into the complex circuitry of the brain, contributing to learning, memory, and even our mood. These neurons form complex networks, each connecting to thousands of other neurons, creating a vast and intricate web. They communicate using a combination of electrical signals within the neuron and chemical signals or neurotransmitters between neurons. Neurons are truly the marvels of nature, the powerhouses behind the scenes. Their ceaseless work enables us to navigate and interact with the world around us. They help us form memories, learn new skills, experience emotions, and so much more. Every thought, every memory, every sensation is a result of these tiny cells and their intricate dance. Now let's take a journey deep inside the brain to understand how these neurons transport information. Imagine a bustling city, but instead of cars and buses, you have proteins and other essential components, all traveling to their respective destinations. This is the world of neuronal trafficking, a complex network of highways within each neuron, necessary for the survival and function of our brain. In this fascinating cityscape of the neuron, the primary mode of transport is a process known as axonal transport. This is how the neuron moves proteins, organelles, and other cellular materials from the neuron's body, or soma, where they are produced, through the long, slender projection known as the axon, and finally to the synapse, the point of communication between neurons. But how does this transport occur? It's all thanks to the neuron's own fleet of vehicles, molecular motors. These microscopic engines, powered by the cell's energy currency, ATP, carry their cargo along the neuron's internal rail tracks, the microtubules. There are two types of these molecular motors, kinesin and dynein. Kinesin motors move cargo away from the soma, down the axon. This is known as anterograde transport. Dynein motors, on the other hand, carry cargo back towards the soma. This is referred to as retrograde transport. Like any well-organized transport system, neuronal trafficking is tightly regulated. After all, neurons can't afford traffic jams or lost cargo. This regulation is carried out by various signals and proteins within the neuron, ensuring that the right cargo gets to the right place at the right time. So, why is this journey so crucial? Well, without efficient transport, neurons can't communicate effectively. They can't send signals to other neurons or respond to signals they receive. This can lead to a wide range of neurological disorders, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. In the hustle and bustle of the brain, efficient transport is crucial. Have you ever wondered where your memories come from and how they're stored? Memories, those elusive fragments of our past experiences, are not just a mental phenomenon. They're deeply rooted in the physical structures of our brain. Two key players in this intricate process are the hippocampus and the amygdala. The hippocampus, an elongated ridges on the floor of each lateral ventricle of the brain, is like the brain's scribe. It's primarily responsible for forming new memories and connecting emotions and senses, such as smell and sound, to memories. Meanwhile, the amygdala, an almond-shaped set of neurons located deep in the brain's medial temporal lobe, adds the emotional layer to those memories. It's the reason why some memories can make us smile or cry, fill us with joy, or make our hearts ache. The amygdala helps us remember not just what happened, but how we felt when it happened. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into the process of memory formation. To create a lasting memory, our brain undergoes a process called consolidation potentiation. This is where our brain converts short-term memories into long-term ones, solidifying our experiences into lasting memories. During this process, the neurons in our brain strengthen their connections with each other. As these connections, or synapses, grow stronger, so does the memory. In essence, our memories are formed and stored by a symphony of neurons playing together in the brain. As they fire and communicate, they etch our experiences into the physical structure of our brain, ready to be recalled at a moment's notice. It's a beautiful and complex process, one that we're still striving to fully understand. So the next time you recall a memory, whether it's the taste of your favorite food, the sound of a loved one's laughter, or the feeling of a cool breeze on a hot day, remember this. Those memories are not just in your mind, they're a part of your brain. They're the product of the incredible work of the hippocampus and the amygdala, and the amazing process of consolidation potentiation. Our memories, whether sweet or bitter, are etched into these parts of our brain. Opening. What happens to your brain when fear takes hold? When you're frightened, your brain doesn't just sit idly by. It springs into action. The fear response starts in a region of the brain called the amygdala. This almond-shaped set of neurons is key in processing emotions like fear and anxiety. When the amygdala senses danger, it sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus, our brain's command center. The hypothalamus communicates with the rest of the body through the autonomic nervous system, which has two components, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the sympathetic nervous system that triggers the fight or flight response, providing the body with a burst of energy so that it can respond to perceived dangers. Meanwhile, the hypothalamus activates the pituitary gland, releasing the hormone ACTH. This travels through the bloodstream and prompts the adrenal glands to flood the body with cortisol, keeping the body on high alert. Fear also has a profound impact on our memory. The hippocampus is tasked with encoding terrifying events into memories. It's these fear-based memories that can lead to lasting changes in our behavior, such as developing phobias or anxiety disorders. But here's a fascinating thing about fear. It's not always a bad thing. It's a survival mechanism that has served us well throughout evolution. It's fear that teaches us to avoid dangerous situations in the future. However, when fear becomes chronic or irrational, it can be debilitating, leading to a range of fear-based disorders. Understanding the neuroscience of fear is not just about understanding our brains, but also about improving treatments for disorders like anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder. Closing. Fear, as it turns out, is not only a feeling, but a complex interplay of neuronal activities. What language do our brains speak? Now, this might seem like an odd question. After all, we don't hear our brains chattering away in English or French or Mandarin. But our brains do speak a language of their own, a chemical language that's essential for everything we think, feel, and do. Meet neurotransmission and hormones, the key players in the brain's linguistic system. These are the words and sentences of the brain's communication, the chemical codes that transmit information from one neuron to another and even to other cells in the body. Neurotransmission is like a bustling postal service within your brain. When one neuron has a message to send, it packages that message into neurotransmitters, chemical parcels that are sent zipping across a tiny gap called the synapse to the next neuron in line. This process is repeated billions of times a day in your brain, forming the basis of everything from your thoughts and feelings to your movements and senses. Hormones, on the other hand, are long-distance messengers. Produced by glands in the body, hormones travel through the bloodstream to reach their targets, which can be anywhere in the body, including the brain. Hormones have a profound impact on our mood, appetite, sleep, and many other aspects of our behavior and bodily functions. In essence, neurotransmission and hormones are the brain's way of getting its message across a complex chemical conversation that's happening every moment of every day. They are the language of the brain, as intricate and nuanced as any human language. So the next time you learn something new, feel a rush of emotion, or simply take a breath, remember the chemical chatter that's making it all possible. Remember the neurotransmitters and hormones, the words and sentences of your brain's language. In the brain's complex web of communication, neurotransmission and hormones are the words and sentences.